What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 23 of the Blue River Bow Hunting Podcast, Spring Thunder Part 2. I got Kyle Campbell on with me this week. Talk a little turkey hunting. How's it going, man?
Good. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. It's almost Friday. I can't stop thinking about these gobblers, so getting to talk about it makes it a little easier.
Absolutely, man. The weather's warming up here, and I know they got to be starting to get hot here soon. So
Yeah, I've down there where I go in Kentucky. I've some people sent me some pictures yesterday. I think it was already got some birds strutting out in the fields and all that, and I'm getting fired up and ready to go.
there's nothing like it, man.
Oh, absolutely. So, tell everybody a little bit about yourself. I know you were on earlier in the podcast series, but introduce yourself a little bit.
Yeah, my name is Kyle Campbell. I live in Central Missouri now. I used to be I'm an ex photographer, videographer for the online hunting show of Wired Outdoors. Um, that was in Pennsylvania. Now I'm back in Missouri and doing a not quite a 9 to 5 job, but a factory work job. We had to move back for family and stuff, but that's neither here nor there. I've been hunting since I was probably 14 ish, up in Northeast Missouri in the country. And yeah, that's pretty much my bio.
That's awesome, man. It sucks that you don't get to be behind the camera anymore, but probably gives you a little bit more time to hunt, probably.
Man, I tell you what, it's this year we moved in October, and this year is actually the first year in 4 years that I actually got to hunt for myself.
Right.
Like I got to sit in the tree stand. I didn't have to worry about work. I could shoot whatever I wanted to shoot,
Right.
and I could do whatever I wanted to do. And it was kind of nice, but it was kind of weird at first. I'm like, what do I need to be doing right now? I need to be doing something. I need to be thinking about something here. But no, it was nice. I got to hunt for myself deer season, and I had a good time. And I'm looking forward to turkey season now.
Like you said last time you were on the show, it's all fun and games until that's your job, and then it's a whole nother aspect. So I'm sure when you got in the stand and didn't have to worry about that thing, the fun probably came back out in it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And don't get me wrong, I loved being a photographer, videographer. It's just, and it was fun, and it's part of the hunt for me to get it on film. And I am actually going to start still film myself. I actually kind of got a little project in mind I want to do
Awesome.
this year. So I am still going to film, and I'm going to join up with one of my buddies who's got a YouTube channel and stuff, and he does a lot of waterfowl. So I'm going to try to get in with him, and we're going to collaborate and try to get something going here.
That's awesome. What's the name of that?
It is. Gosh dang it! I knew you were going to ask me that.
Don't worry about it. You can come
Average
back to it.
is it's an average opportunity is his YouTube channel,
That's cool, man.
and
I'll have to check that out.
yeah.
I was big into waterfowl for, I would say, like a 4 to 5 year stretch, and we just didn't get the numbers here where I'm at. And I was just like, I got to get back on these deer because, my opportunity, I had more of an opportunity to shoot deer and big deer compared to maybe shooting a duck here or there.
Yeah,
So I needed to focus on other things other than chasing ducks all the time that weren't even here to begin with.
man, I love duck hunting, but it sucks that it's the same exact time as the rut. Like that's my worst complaint about it because it's like I can go shoot 4 mallards or and make maybe 2 meals out of it and freeze my ass off in the water and maybe fall in and do all that work and throwing out decoys, or I can go sit in the stand and shoot a 130-inch buck and be fed for until summer.
Oh, absolutely. I think now just focusing on the whitetails, it's like when December hits, we have like when the birds finally get here, and it's like I maybe get to hunt maybe a couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks on ducks and geese, and then it's over with. And I'm like, well,
Yep.
shit. And then all the birds are here after the season's already closed. Then all the birds show up.
Yeah, yeah. Right now it's I don't know if you guys get snow geese in Indiana.
We get snow geese in certain parts of Indiana, but it's nothing like what you guys are doing out there.
Yeah.
I know you guys get a whole bunch. Actually, some guys that hunt with me, they went out to Kansas
Hmm.
and shot a bunch of specks and snows and all that sort of thing. But I haven't got to do the snow goose thing. They've been to Arkansas a bunch doing it too.
Yep.
I've never got to do that trip, but it's on my bucket list for sure.
Yeah, right now they're kind of coming through right at this second, and the same guy had he's got a huge spread out. I don't even know how many thousands of decoys he's got out, but he's got a huge spread in the e-collar, and he lives for it. He actually took a whole week off work this week to go do it. And
That's awesome.
it's the same guy who has that YouTube channel, so I'm sure he's going to be posting some videos. And he actually have you ever heard of Just Hunt Club?
No, I don't think I heard of that.
They got a really nice YouTube channel too, and they're hunting with them right now. And I'm waiting for them to leave, and the geese aren't quite here yet. They're kind of still on southeast Missouri and southern Missouri and northern Arkansas right now. So I'm waiting for them to kind of come up here, and it's a good time. You get under thousands of geese, and they just tornado down.
Oh,
And you're like yell to the guy next to you because you're like, you ready?
yeah. You mentioned a YouTube channel I haven't even really heard of, and I think that's one of the coolest things about YouTube is you can have guys out there that are just absolute kill, and it don't matter if it's deer, turkey, waterfowl, could be absolute killers, and you may never even heard of them.
Oh yeah.
It just didn't come across your page or whatever. And next week on this turkey episode here on the podcast, I'm having Team Wingbone on, and they are some absolute turkey killing machines, man. I can't wait to
Awesome.
talk to them.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And do they have a YouTube too?
Yep, they have a YouTube, and it's one of my favorites to keep up on.
Okay.
They play it smart. They put it out right there, coming into turkey season to get you all pumped up, watching all their new stuff.
Right.
And it's crazy. They're from Louisiana, and they
Okay.
got a hell of a setup, man. They've been doing it since like the 1930s is how it all started. They in their intro they kind of go through that, and they use the wing bone,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
they get them birds fired up on them wing bones. It's pretty cool to watch.
I've seen those calls before. I've never used one, but I've
I've
seen them.
I've tried it before. My buddy had one, and I wasn't too great on it because you kind of have to like suck on it to
Yeah.
make that noise, and I don't know. I'm not good at sucking, I guess.
It's not a bad thing, I guess.
Right. So, tell us all a little bit how you got started in the turkey hunting and where your passion grew in that.
So like I said, I started hunting when I was 14, and I got a hilarious story to tell you from this. So Missouri has a youth season, and my mom, and this is kind of going back, my mom and dad divorced, whatever. We moved up northeast Missouri, and I didn't know anything about hunting. I was kind of a city kid, played video games, and one of the guys my mom was seeing was like, you need to start hunting. And I'm like, whatever. I don't, okay, this is stupid. But I went out and actually got a buddy of mine from high school. He was 18. And we went to a really small school. So I knew, like, even being 14,
Same.
friends with 18-year-olds. But he was like, it was spring, and I was like, I want to go turkey hunting. And he's like, well, I can take you, let's go. So we went to my farm, and we got down there. I'm like, I don't even know where to go, let's just go over here and sit by this tree. Well, we had a bird like across the field, and I say across the field, it was probably one of the smallest fields. It was probably, I don't know, 75 yards wide at its widest point, and we were on the other side, but he was hammering and hammering and hammering. I'm like, this is freaking awesome.
Right.
Like, my first turkey hunt, and there's a bird gobbling, and I'm like, this is so cool. It's dark, and finally he flies down, and I think I had like a little single shot 20 gauge. I don't know. It was like probably maybe about 4 foot long. And he's like, you ready? Can you shoot him? I'm like, the gun's across my lap, because I didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
And the gun was across my lap and everything. And I was like, I can't move. And he's like, well, I'm going to shoot it. And I'm like, oh, wait, no, this wasn't youth season. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I get the
I don't
stories
want
mixed up
to.
too.
Yeah, this was regular season, because he had a gun. So he had a gun, and he's like, well, I'm going to shoot it then. And I'm like, okay, you can shoot it. And so like he like raises up and he shoots, and he cranks one off. And then the bird just kind of stands there and looks at him. And like it kind of, because it was strutting. And so like when he shot, it kind of perked up and looked at him. He shot again. Then it started to run away, and then it flew, and he shot again. And long story short, he went and bought a 3.5-inch 12 gauge later that weekend.
There you go.
Because he was all mad. But I guess it was kind of, you had to be there, because it doesn't sound as funny as it actually was. But I give him shit about that all the time now. I was like, hey, you want to go turkey hunting? And he's like, screw you, Kyle.
That's awesome. But like, I think I explained it a little bit last week on how I kind of got started into it. It's a lot different than most people because, just like you said, it was your own farm. You were close to home or whatever. I learned in other places because we don't have turkeys here. and it wasn't a thing that we did growing up. It was mostly deer hunting,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody my dad worked with or whatever was talking about it, and he's like, "Dude, let's try this." I'm like, I'm game. I'm same age, 14 years old. Let's do it. I'm up for anything. When you're at that age, you want to do anything.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's like, well, there's a youth season down in Kentucky, and they had some property down there and had permission on quite a bit of property down there. I'm like, let's go, let's go. We didn't know nothing. I mean, we knew a little bit from watching videos on TV and picking up on it a little bit. We called my first bird in with a push button call,
Oh
and I
yeah.
actually first hunt ever killed a bird. And it's funny you're talking about handling that 20 gauge. I killed my first probably, I don't know, 6 or 7 birds with a 10 gauge.
Oh
This
my.
thing was a mini cannon, 14 years old. I had to scoot off the tree a little bit to see this bird, pull the trigger, and it laid me completely on my back. It was awesome, but
That's
it's
funny.
it's so cool. I wanted to talk to you about hunting Kentucky because you did that quite a bit when you were with those guys, and it's just a whole nother ball game, man. I
Oh
don't
yeah.
if I could pick any state in the United States to turkey hunt, I'm gonna pick Kentucky every time because it's just like a whole nother world.
Oh yeah, Kentucky that's something else. It's just it seems like there's a bird strutting in every little field, and it's not like here. It's not like the Midwest where they got cornfields and cornfields and cornfields. It's kind of rolling hills and pasture ground, and I don't even know if it's pasture. I mean, I don't even know what to call it, but it's like
Right.
it's different. And it seems like on every hill, oh, there's another bird gobbling. Oh, there's another turkey strutting. And like you just drive down the road and you're like, damn, there's turkeys everywhere around here. And
It,
it's definitely something else. I love it.
oh, absolutely. And what's crazy is, I don't know. I mean, maybe not the same people that you kind of ran into. We weren't actually that far apart when we were down there, but the people that I would go and ask, and we would go ask to turkey hunt these permission on these farms, they didn't even care about turkeys. They were
Yeah.
more about deer hunting.
Oh
Don't
yeah.
even mess with their deer hunting. Kill all the turkeys you want. There's a million of them out there. Go kill them all. I'm like, awesome.
Yeah.
Can I deer hunt? No, absolutely. Get off my property. You know?
Yeah, and that's kind of the way it was too. That we had some permission farms too. That the guy I was hunting with, and he'd go up, knock on a door. Hey, there's turkeys strutting back here. You care if we go? And they're like, a turkey? Yeah, whatever. I don't care. Go try. So, or he'd call, and I mean, he's a well-known guy, and he knew a lot of people. So, I mean, I'm sure that helped. But
Oh, I'm sure.
but yeah, turkey hunting, and that's kind of the same around here too. Turkey hunting land, you can go knock on a door or whatever, and people are like, whatever. I know somebody hunts this, but it's just a turkey. I don't care. Go shoot it. It's not like you're gonna shoot a 190-inch, you know, non-typical buck on their land, and then you got everybody in the world asking, and you go shoot a
Yeah.
24-pound turkey, and they're like, oh, cool. There'll be another one next year.
I got to travel to Missouri last year, northwest Missouri, and we hunted some cattle farms up there, and it was really cool experience. It's cool getting the turkey hunt in different states and different environments. Sometimes they can act the same, but it's all about what kind of land you're on. You could be a huge obstacle or the way you're approaching things.
Mhm.
And Missouri was a lot of fun, but the only thing that I didn't like that I wish I should change about Missouri, which I'm sure they wouldn't change it, is the hunting till noon or whatever. I thought that was really pretty bizarre, really.
Yeah, so in Missouri you can only hunt. So in Missouri you can only hunt till one, the all season, and the first week you can only kill one bird.
Yep.
So, and it starts on a Monday too.
Hmm.
So we always called it poor man's hunting season because the poor man get to go because they don't have jobs, and they get to go for opening day on Monday. Everybody else has to go to work, so we always called it poor man's hunting season. But yeah, you can only hunt till one. You can only kill one bird the first week, and that's a lot. And then it's funny you mentioned that going to different states and turkey hunts. My old boss, Jason, he would always say, "Man, I'll travel the world to kill a whitetail, but I am not going in any other state to kill a turkey. That's just stupid." And I'm like, "Man, I will go to every single state to kill a turkey."
Same. I would go to every state possible if I could possibly swing that. And I've only ever killed Easterns,
Yeah.
which, is pretty much where I'm at here, and then even Kentucky and Missouri where we went.
Yeah.
But it would be fun to, kick some of those bucket list birds off
Uh,
off the Grand Slam list, some Osceolas or Rios or whatever. It'd be a ton of fun to be able to do that.
Merriam's is the top of my list. I want to kill one so bad. They're so pretty.
Oh yeah. The picture that I'm going to use in the YouTube thumbnail. What bird is that? Is that a Marum
No,
or a
it's an
Rio?
eastern. It's an.
Oh,
Oh,
is
it's all
it?
I've ever killed. That was in Pennsylvania.
Oh,
It's
really?
just
Just the light hits it
yeah.
funny,
It's
and you're
just
like,
the
ooh, what is that?
it's just the light coming through the tail fan is makes it look like a different. Yeah.
That's awesome. Me and my wife were talking about it because she was listening to last week's episode, and he was one bird shy of his Grand Slam. He's going for Rio this year, and she was asking me about it and stuff. And I said, I'm gonna wait till I'm retired, and then
Hmm.
I'm gonna try to do it all in 1 year, just to be
Yeah.
a just to do it. To say I've done it in 1 year, I
Absolutely.
think it'd be fun.
Oh yeah, I think they call that. So I know there's like the Grand Slam to where you can do it lifetime, but there isn't something. Don't they call it something else when you do it in a
They
season, like
might
Super Grand Slam or something?
something
Something.
like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be fun though.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
So let's talk a little bit about like when you were growing up and you were, learning the turkey hunt. How did you learn to call it, and who did you learn from?
So my friend, the same guy, the average opportunity guy, he and I kind of got together when we were in high school and started turkey hunting together. And he's actually the one who called my first bird in for, and I actually still remember it. It's 2006,
Nice.
and he called my first bird in for me, and then we just turkey hunted. And I just kind of watched him and listened to him, and just kind of followed in his footsteps and did everything he did. So he's kind of been my mentor. His name's Lance, by the way, but he was
Yeah.
kind of my mentor growing up, and we still hunt together. We're gonna hunt together this year, and we still hunt together all the time. So
Was it something you were just using like pot calls and slate calls
most
or
mostly slate and diaphragm. He's really, really good on a diaphragm call. Probably one of the best that I know. Always tried to get him to go to competitions and stuff, but he's just like, whatever. I don't even care about it. Let's just go kill stuff.
right? Now, when you're getting to hunt out there in Missouri, is it private property that you're going to be hunting, or is it public land?
Mostly private. But this year we are going to try to do some public ground. We got a spot mapped out down in southeast Missouri that we're going to go camp for a week, and I think we're going to go the second week of season this year. We're going to camp, and we're actually going to float the river in our kayaks. And
Oh,
it's
that'd
good,
be
and
cool.
like the river goes through, and then both sides is public. So we're gonna float on kayaks and kind of just listen, and and then after one, we're gonna take our fishing poles, and then after one, we're gonna float to our other destination, and we'll just fish until we get to our truck. So
That was
that's our,
awesome.
that's our plan this year, is to go to South Missouri and catch some smallies and
Ooh, now
turkey
we're talking.
hunting. Yeah, I'm
Small
pretty
is in
excited
my
about
language.
that. It's been a while since I've caught a big old smallie, so
I have a 7 pound smallmouth on the wall
that's a giant
from
smallmouth.
Dale Hollow. Dale Hollow. It's actually I didn't actually catch it. It's my aunt's, and she said that I could put it in my man cave, so I did. I don't claim that by any means, but it is a monster
That's a
smallmouth.
I'm gonna say that's a giant smallmouth
It
bass.
is. The world records was 11. I don't know if it's still stands at the same lake, Dale Hollow, down in Tennessee.
Really?
Hmm.
I need to go hit this lake up, it sounds like.
Yeah, they would do it up pretty good. They would catch their own shiners and stuff on the dock at night, and then go out and just slay them. I mean,
Really?
that was their trip for a long time in the spring until my uncle passed, and then that's kind of when it turned into turkey trip for me and
Hmm.
my dad back then.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah, I need to go. I need to find out that what this lake is or where it's at and take a trip.
It's right there on the border of Kentucky and Tennessee. Actually, the northern half of the lake is actually in Kentucky, and then the bottom half of it's in Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
Very nice place. Even like a great vacation spot too. Actually, last summer, me and the wife and her family rented a houseboat on there for a week. It was awesome.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
Yep. So, preseason scouting. What exactly do you get into preseason scouting?
Well, I like to go to. I know there's a couple farms that he doesn't allow hunting. There's a guy here in where I live in this town, and he doesn't allow hunting, but there's turkeys out there all the time. But I'll go take pictures and stuff. That's what I like to do preseason when they're starting to strut. But as far as scouting, uh, turkeys, they'll tell you exactly where they're at, and that's what I love about turkey hunting.
All right.
So, if you're preseason scouting, I recommend do not, do not call to them.
Yeah.
You can owl hoot, you can crow call all day long, but do not hit your slate call.
Yeah.
Don't hit your diaphragm call. You're just gonna screw them up.
Yeah. There's
But
no reason to educate them.
no, absolutely. But as far as turkey like scouting, just you know, if you're gonna scout where you're gonna hunt, like you're trying to pick a place go listen. That's all you got to do is just go listen for them to fly down, and then they'll tell you which way they're walking. And they're a creature of habit, just like deer. They're going to do the same thing, not every day, but for the most part. So that's what I do preseason scouting. I'll just go listen. I'll go at night, throw a few beers in the cooler in the truck, and
Yeah.
just go sit. I mean, it's you can't beat a 70-degree day in the evening. Sun's going down. Sit on your toolbox in the back of your truck and just listen for them to fly up and owl hoot. Right at fly up time, and they'll tell you exactly what tree they're in.
Yeah. Now, have you ever used anything like an Onyx or anything to do any e-scouting?
I do. I use an app called HuntWise.
Hmm.
It's I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
Yeah.
I like it better than Onyx. I've tried both of them, but I like HuntWise better. I don't know. It's just kind of more user friendly to me.
Hmm.
That's what, and I'll mark where also drive around. I'll drive around all morning, a few weeks before season, and kind of pick fields. I'll even mark birds in other people's fields. That way, if I go to my field and strike out, then I can call this landowner and be like, hey, I saw a turkey in your field. Can I go hunt? And yay or nay or whatever. The worst they
Right.
can say is no.
Yeah. What about trail cams? You ever use any trail cams for turkeys?
I have not actually. I never have, but this year I plan to. I have covert trail cams as the ones I use,
Hmm.
and I actually have an idea this year. I'm just going to put them on time lapse mode and just kind of watch the whole field and just kind of take time lapse and then zoom in and see if I can't see a turkey strutting out the middle of the field. So I would say cellular cams would probably be dynamite.
Yeah. You just put that idea in my head. I didn't think about that until you just said it.
I know, like I said, I've never used them, but I mean, a cell. Just think about a cell cam. It's kind
Right.
of cheating,
It
honestly.
kind of is. I may
But
not do it now.
yeah, I mean, you're hunting over here, and then you're like, oh, turkey just strutted by my camera. Let's go.
Right.
So, I mean, you can do that for deer too, I guess. So, I one of these days they're gonna make cell cams illegal. I
I
guarantee
I
it.
would I would probably guess that's probably going to be on that path. Some states already make it where you can't use trail cams in general,
Yeah,
which I don't know about that. I
yeah,
think it's you should be able to have a trail cam, just maybe not a cell cam.
right. Or I don't know. You can should be able to regulate it. Maybe to make them where they don't send you a picture until the next day or something like that. But
Yeah, not an
I don't
instant
know.
thing.
I would say I bet a lot of deer and turkeys have been killed via cell
Oh,
cams.
absolutely. And we say that's kind of cheating, but I don't think I've ever really had. I mean, I'm sure I could have done it, but like being at work, during the day or whatever, and it goes off, and you're like, shit, I wish I was in the
Yeah.
stand or whatever. I don't think I've ever really had the opportunity to be like just sitting at home and it goes off and like, oh shit, there's one standing right there. I could probably sneak up on it if I wanted to. I've never really done that.
No, the only thing that I've had happen to me was I had a friend of mine up hunting in my farm in Missouri, and I was sitting in one stand and he was in another stand, and it was him and his son, and I got a notification on my phone, and it was a buck, and I could tell it was walking right to where they were sitting. So I'm like, I started shaking for them, like I was like, oh, this is awesome, and then it's like I don't know, 5 minutes later, I got a phone call. My phone starts ringing. I'm like, oh, I was like, did you kill it? I was like, I saw it before you did.
That's awesome.
But that's the only time. Yeah, I've never really like been sitting in my stand or out turkey hunting and actually had one like go by my camera or whatever.
I don't think my cell cams would even work down there in Kentucky because sometimes, I mean, where I stay there at my grandma's place, I barely have cell phone signal, let
Yeah.
alone get one of those cameras to send it. I'm sure that would be a whole nother thing. I'd probably have to get some kind of booster or something that's
Yeah.
even a thing.
Yeah. I think they do make booster antennas and stuff you can buy for them, but
Yeah. What about roosting birds in the evening? Is that something that you get on?
it's my favorite thing to do. And
Absolutely.
I'll give you a tip: use a coyote, like a coyote caller.
Oh, you're muted. There you go.
Got me?
Yeah, I got you.
Sorry about that.
No, it's all good.
I'm actually like, I'm a fidgeter, so I was fidgeting with you.
No, you're good.
But no, it's my favorite thing to do. Use a coyote howler call, and like I said, throw a few beers in the tail in a cooler in the back of your truck, and go pull off a gravel road, sit on the tailgate, drink a beer, and wait for them to fly up time. Get on your coyote howler, and they'll tell, like I said, they'll tell you exactly what tree they're in.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things to do in Kentucky is, most of the time when we're down there, it's I consider it like a vacation even, and it's an annual thing that I always do. I always go down there. So I'm if I'm not hunting, I'm either, fishing a pond or drinking plenty of beers. So,
Yep.
that's a thing too. Load the cooler up, take the side by side up through there, find a spot without really messing anything up where you can
Yep.
be close enough to kind of know where they're going to be, and then getting them fired up. I've used a hoot owl most of the time, but that's always a fun thing. And then you get back, and then you can't stop talking about it, and you're all fired up because you know where he's at.
Yep. Yeah, you're like, that bird's dead, but most of the time he's not.
Right. And then you screw the pooch the next morning, anyways.
Yeah, you're like, I know he was in this tree, but you still walk right under it.
So walk us through a typical turkey hunt from, how you started off in the morning to the progressions you go through as the day goes on.
Okay. So, obviously, the night before, like we just talked about, so we'll get a game plan usually of where we're going to sit, what tree he's in, where you're going to potentially fly down at. So I don't like to get like right under them. I like for them to fly out, and then kind of, maybe if I know the path they're kind of going to go, then I'll kind of intercept them, obviously.
Right.
What I like to do and what I've been doing lately is using a Jake and a hen from DSD, like that 3/4 strut Jake they have.
Yep.
So most of the time they'll fly out, they'll see that, they'll instantly get pissed off and run right to it.
That's awesome.
But before fly down, let's go back a little bit. Use soft tree yelps is what I like to do. I don't like to get too crazy with them. I know a lot of people, as soon as they start gobbling, they'll start cutting at them and hammering with them. And I'm like,
right.
just shut up. Like, just soft tree yelps. They know where you're at. They're not going to instantly fly down and go right to your spread just because you're cutting at them or doing a fly down cackle or whatever. Right. Beating your hat on your leg. Like, come on, man, stop. But no, it's like soft tree yelps is what I like to do. I don't like to get too aggressive with them and then like let them fly down. And if, 9 times out of 10, they'll fly the other way. Even though if they fly down in the same field every day and I'm in that field, they'll fly the other way for some reason. I don't understand it. But they'll fly down the other way, 9 times out of 10. The one time they do fly down, then, like I said, most of the time they'll see that Jake, they'll strut around a little bit, and then they'll get pissed off enough to run and, try to attack it or whatever. And those are the fun ones to me. And you're done by 7:30 and you're cooking turkey breasts and looking for mushrooms by noon.
Oh, yeah. Well, you like what you were kind of getting into, say he does fly down the opposite direction. You hear him, fade into the distance, the opposite direction. A lot of people maybe want to cut him off, go all the way around him or whatever. I found out most of the times, and I'm not saying that I'm anybody or nothing like that. This is just how I approach it in a situation like that. I like to just sit tight for a little bit. You know what I mean? Especially if it's the first day that I'm there or whatever. Sit tight because, like I explained last week, you could have a bird 50, 60 yards behind you, and you don't even know he's there. Maybe he didn't even gobble. Maybe he got wet the night before. He's not being super loud or whatever, and all of a sudden he sneaks in on you. I feel like I like that approach. Now, don't get me wrong. I love running and gunning, but I like just kind of let it play out sometimes. Sometimes they can play out in your favor.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And 9 times out of 10, if you, sit down there, either that bird will circle back around to come check you because he knows where you're at. I've had it happen before. If you just sit tight, and I wholeheartedly agree with you. Sometimes, like, I don't know if it's me getting older and lazier. Right. I'm just like, I don't want to walk around. Let's just sit here and chill. It's a nice day or whatever. But he's probably going to check out some hens that he knows where they're at, or going to get some water or something.
And you're not going to call him off of 10, 15 hens.
No. And then, he may go breed those hens and be done, and they'll go to nest, and he'll be like, oh, well, I know where another one is, and he'll come check you out too. So that's, or, if you have more places to hunt or more birds or whatever, just leave that bird and go try another one and then come back later. I bet he'll be strutting. I've had that happen so many times, and I've been so pissed off when that happens. They're strutting right where you're sitting. You're like, oh.
I've had that happen before. Actually, one of the properties that I'm able to hunt, down there in Kentucky is my uncle's place. It's like 85 acres or something, nothing huge. And I sat there for like 4 hours one evening. He's like, this bird hits the corner of this field every night, 4 o'clock, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, man, I'll sit here. I sat there, and I did a little bit of calling, nothing crazy. I didn't want to sound anything unnatural.
Mm-hmm.
And I left. I said, fuck it, I'm going back. I'm going to go drink some beers and hang out for the rest of the evening. Soon as I get to the garage, the phone rings and it's him. Hey, that bird's out there strutting. I'm like, oh man. Oh well, I guess I'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah, they like to really piss me off, and I think that's why I like shooting them in the face.
Right. So talk about the way you pick your locations as far as where you're gonna set up. Is it all based off a roost, or is there other variables on that?
I like to be very visible. I don't like to be in the timber. I just like to be very visible, and I don't really know how to answer this question honestly, but if a bird's gonna fly down or whatever, I want to even if that one, like we were talking about, flies a different way. I want another bird that's 500 yards away to maybe be able to see me
Okay.
or something. So I like to be out in the open, or I don't like to be out in the open. I like to be tucked in the brush. But as far
Right.
as my decoys and stuff, I like open fields. Now, I do like timber hunting when I'm like, say we'll go calling through the timber, try to strike a bird. If we strike a bird, bird gobbling in the timber is just so awesome.
It is, man.
It's the thunder and the roar, and then you can feel it, the vibration. But no, as far as like setup, I like to be out in the open, out in the field. I like to be able to like set my decoys maybe on a high rise while I'm down low. So if they happen to come out on the ridge or whatever, they can see it. Not,
I'm with you.
that's the best I can do to answer that one.
No, that's cool, man. I'm just trying to fill out, get as much information from you as I possibly can.
Oh yeah.
What about, I talked about it a little bit, and we touched on it a little bit, but situational calling. What's your best tips and advice on situational calling?
So, okay, let's go through some situations here.
Yeah.
So, say you're hunting a new piece of property, you don't know if there's any birds on it, you just want to kind of walk through and try to strike a bird. First of all, I like to get out, like get right in. Say it's like you cross the fence, you're right into the property. First time, hammer my slate call as loud as possible. See if there's anything gobbling. Nothing gobbles. I'll start hiking, kind of maybe look at my Onyx map or my HuntWise map, and I'll kind of guide a little trail, go through the timber, and then I'll still do my slate call and just kind of not real loud, and kind of just soft yelps every 10 minutes. I don't know, walk 10 minutes and then strike a little bit, walk 10 minutes and strike a little bit, get one to gobble. I'll either figure out like maybe he's on another ridge. I don't want to go right at him, cut him off and see where he's going. Or, if he gobbles right away, sit right down right where you are.
Right.
I've done that before. So that's kind of that situation. Right off the roost, like I said, soft tree yelps, maybe a fly down cackle, but I'm not going to sit there and for 20 minutes.
Right.
But soft tree yelps, I like doing that. And I know a lot of people like calling, like so the gobbler's committed. He's coming at you. He's strutting. He's spitting. He's gobbling. I like to shut up.
Me too.
I know a lot of people that still, that sounds like a duck, but you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I got you.
But no, I know people that like to yelp as they're coming in, or purr. I'm not a really good purr with my diaphragm call, so I just shut up. Like, he's committed, he's coming to me. Maybe it's cooler when you're talking to him, because he gobbles back and then you're kind of interacting. So like for video purposes, like people that do that, it's really awesome. Right. But I can't do it because I get nervous, and I'm like, I've done it before when they're close and then I watch the video, I'm like, that doesn't sound good.
Well, I'll put you in this situation. So Missouri, your home state, last year, I'm in an open field. I'm actually bow hunting turkey. So I'm in a blind, got my full pretty boy decoy and the lay down hen out in the middle of a field. I see him up on this power line, cut out probably 300 to 400 yards. I call, he hammers. And when I say he hammered, he gobbled for a half hour before I got him, but he cut into this timber and made his way all the way down to me. And the hen that he was with actually entered the field, came. I mean, I could have reached out of the blind and grabbed her, but he would never cross into the field. I don't know if it was the decoy that scared him, or and I didn't really call. The video we have on YouTube from our trip, I put the couple times that I did call in that video, because when I did call, he hammered, and I was like, man, he's a 70 yards, but I don't want to scare him and sound unnatural. And
Right.
just, I don't know. I don't know what I could have done to get him to come out into the field. There was a down tree right there, and he jumped up on that log and was just strutting back and forth, gobbling,
Really?
gobbling, and gobbling.
Ugh.
But it would never come into the field.
Man, I don't think it doesn't. From what that sounds like, I don't think there's anything you could have done different. It's just some birds are stubborn like that, and they just won't. They won't play, and that's what pisses me off about turkey.
Oh, right.
That's when you go home and you're like, I'm never turkey hunting again. And then, sun comes up the next day, you're right back out there.
Well, after that, I was like, maybe I should get the gun out. So I got the gun out for the last day, and I missed. I missed at about 35 yards, and then I honestly don't know how I missed. I really don't. And I'm not saying I'm a perfect shot or I'm some sniper or something.
Oh, no,
Obviously did something wrong, but I missed, and I got to get that monkey off my back this year really bad.
Oh yeah, no, I missed one from here to that wall. So I'm not gonna shame you at all. But I mean, if you haven't missed a turkey, you haven't turkey hunted enough.
Right.
And
I wanted to kill one with my bow so bad. Have you ever killed one with your bow?
I have not.
It takes a whole nother discipline to be able to try to get that done.
Oh, I can imagine. I don't. So I've told myself I'm gonna go bow hunting for turkeys sometimes, but then I just watch videos and watch their, like the boom and then their necks snap back, and I'm just like, that looks so cool. I like shooting them in the face.
Oh, absolutely.
And then when you shoot them with the bow, they kind of just flop and run around, and
or you could shoot them with those gobbler guillotines and just take the head plumb off of it.
I do want to do that sometime, but I'm not ballsy enough or a good enough shot to try it.
I can't wait. I want to get it done, but my turkey season goes so fast, and it's such a short period of time. It's hard to get that bow out because you just want to get behind the gun and just get one down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I've always said. Oh, I'll bow hunt the first one, and then like everybody starts killing them, and then you see posts on social media, and you're like, nope, I'm not taking the bow. I'm gonna go shoot one in the face too.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about what's in your turkey vest. Everything but the kitchen sink.
Yeah, I'm one of those guys.
Me too.
I mean, anywhere from face paint to 12 gauge shotgun shells, even though I'm carrying a 20 gauge to, I mean, I don't know, like 15 mouth calls. Cause I got a little pack of, I got like one of those little cases, and I put like 5 in each case. So I've got like 15 of those, even though I only use one. I don't have a box call. That's the only thing I think that's not in my pack, just cause I know they work awesome, and I know guys love them, and they work, and I know they work. I've seen them work, but they just they're too high pitched to me, and I don't like that noise. So I don't
I
carry
think that's almost like a thing, like kind of like we were talking, situational,
Yeah.
Hey, there's going to be like 20, 25 mile an hour winds today. Let's bring the box call
Yeah.
kind of thing, because that's when it's going to come into play.
Yeah.
You really got to reach that sound
Right.
out there.
Yeah. No, I like I said, I just don't have one I have GoPros, I have batteries, I have face paint, I have bug spray. I mean, literally I have, you need a Band-Aid? Here you go.
Well, the guy I had on last week from North Carolina, he said he brings a first aid kit with him.
Yeah,
which is probably not a bad thing to have.
It's not I don't go full first aid kit, but I'll have like a Band-Aid or two just in case, thorns or whatever.
Right, you never know what can happen, and sometimes when I do the Kentucky thing, I'm usually by myself, so you never know what can happen. This year, it's all going to play off of if I put in for a Michigan non-resident tag. Met some guys off doing this podcast from Michigan. They have a ton of turkeys, and they're not really super into it. So I said, let's trade a hunt. You come hunt whitetails with me. You put me on some birds in Michigan. So I'm hoping that I get drawed, but I'm still going to go to Kentucky for like an opening weekend, Monday, Tuesday sort of thing.
Yep.
But this year, I'm actually going to take my good buddy that hunts with us, Alan. He's in the National Guard, and he's going to be spending a year overseas. So he's going to miss this coming deer season. So I'm going to try to take him down to Kentucky and get him on some birds. That way he can have a little fun before he leaves.
Yeah. Yeah. That'll be awesome. Hopefully he gets one.
Yeah, hopefully I get it on film is what I'm
Yeah.
hoping.
Yeah. That'd be awesome too.
You spent a lot of time behind the camera on turkeys. What's some tips or tactics that on filming turkeys that you could help me out with?
You got to hide.
Right.
You got to hide, and you got to hide the camera too. I used to be a firm believer is like, oh, they don't care about that camera, but I've got a big old mesh cloth thing that's real tree or whatever, and I cut out a little hole for the camera, and I literally put the camera down, I throw that thing over me, and I put the camera and I just watch the screen under the thing pretty much.
Okay, so I might be doing something right then. That's exactly what I did. I had like almost like an army netting type of material, and I cut a square out just for my lens, and then I was able to put the microphone like right through one of the little netting holes.
Yep, and just kind of and stay out of the sun because the
it's hard to see the view, the screen.
That it's hard to see the screen, but also the lens will glare. So if we've got out before and like we sat down and set up and got everything all situated, and my buddy comes out and puts the decoy down. He looks back. He's like, "Nope, can't do this." I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "Your lens has got like it looks like a big orange ball over there."
Oh wow!
So we've done that before. But yeah, it's just you got to hide as a cameraman, and obviously move slow. But that's if you know how to hunt, you know that one. But
right.
I would say the biggest tip I have is to hide if you're a cameraman.
I'm ready to get back behind the camera again. I'm really missing deer season right now. I spent so much time behind the camera and I miss it, man. So I'm ready to get that itch. I got to scratch that itch a little bit. And last year when we went to Missouri, with the whole bow hunting thing, we had a really nice blind, and we were you can set those blinds in the middle of the field, and it don't bother those turkeys one bit.
Yeah,
you just had to wear like some black hoodies and stuff.
Yeah.
But definitely ready to get back behind it. So you talked a little bit about your 3/4 strut Jake earlier. Talk a little bit about decoys and maybe how you use them.
So I know this is probably going to be unpopular, but I'm a big fan of doing the quote unquote reaping of turkeys. I love, getting behind. It's illegal in Pennsylvania, but it's legal in Missouri. Obviously, I would use strong caution when doing it because you could, sneak up on somebody and they think you're actual Tom or whatever. But I like doing that. It's fun. I'm trying to stay away from it because it's kind of almost cheating too.
I've never done it.
Oh, dude.
I might have to try it.
It's so much fun. But no, I like doing that. But like I said, I like getting the 3/4 strut Jake out there. And for some reason, it pisses them off. They'll charge it. They'll get on it. They'll beat on it. They'll kick it. They'll peck it and bite it. And you can get away. They're so focused on that decoy that you can get away with so much. We actually got video one time. I don't know if we were using the 3/4 strut Jake. I think we were just using the regular hen, the DSD hen, and the Tom got on it. He humped it. There was semen all over the back of it.
Oh wow!
And like he spent we were under a cedar tree, and my buddy Lance, he was shaking the tree like he grabbed a branch and he's shaking it. We got this on video, and he's shaking it and shaking it and shaking it, and the turkey's just looking around and pecking the decoy. And he even crawled out there. I have a really good photo of it we can put up on your Twitter or whatever, of him. He actually army crawled out to this turkey, grabbed the decoy, and the turkey's still strutting like 2 yards in front of him.
That's wild.
It was insane. And so the DSD decoys, I can't say enough about them, but
oh, absolutely.
That's what I like using a hen or a Jake, and they're so focused on those decoys and so locked in. You can get away with so much.
Oh yeah. It was cool. Like when I first started trying to film turkeys, and I wasn't really big into the filming thing quite yet. So I had a small camera, very small tripod type of thing, but I had these Jakes come in, and beat the living shit out of my decoy. And it was really cool because even having that smaller camera and not that great of a camera, I was able to catch the vocalizations of
Oh
the
yeah.
turkeys when they were fighting and,
Yep, yep,
and
yep.
they're smacking one another and stuff. And my buddy wanted to shoot it, but he had a beard that was about 2 inches long. I'm like, you're not shooting that little bitty thing. Let him
Yeah.
get big. We ain't got too many. And that was actually in Indiana. I've only actually taken two birds in Indiana, and it's just where I live, man. There's no turkeys where I
Oh
live. I
really?
mean, there's a few flocks here and there, and then I basically turn into a travel hunter,
Yeah.
come spring because I'm a diehard turkey hunter and I'm ready
Right.
to get after them.
Oh yeah, I don't blame you there. If I don't know what I would do. I feel sorry for you that there's no I
Right.
wish I can help you out, but I don't have enough like maybe next year we can try to plan something and get you out here and we'll go hit up some public ground or something.
Yeah, I'm definitely be down for that. But talk about hunting in other states and kind of how you planned it ahead of time and what you went through in doing that.
So we hunted mostly every all the other states I've hunted out of state. We've always gone with a friend, so he already has done all the scouting and laid on all the groundwork, and we kind of just do what we do. All said this whole time is go out and listen for him at night, and kind of get a game plan. I've hunted Tennessee, Kentucky, and Pennsylvania, and Missouri. I think that's the only states that I've killed turkeys in. But yeah, that's kind of never have really gone to somewhere I didn't know what was going on or somebody didn't know what was going on. So
Right.
we always kind of just went on private land where a friend had, already laid down the groundwork. So I really can't answer that question
You
of
know,
how to prepare.
most of my trips is the same. Kentucky, I hunt the same property every year, so I'm kind of aware of what goes on for the most part. Last year when we went to Missouri, we leased a property, and the guy we leased it from basically showed us where he thought the birds were going to be. We still did our homework every night and everything like that. But I've never really gotten to take a trip to another state where maybe I'm just hunting public
Yeah.
or something like that, where I think you really need to put in your homework. Maybe take a trip, a road trip out there before you go, and put some boots on the ground,
Yep.
and look for some stuff. I don't know. I think it'd be really fun to plan a turkey trip like that. I got a buddy that he winged it last year and was actually successful. He drove 14 hours from Indiana to Nebraska and was
Jeez.
able to kill a bird close to when he met us in Missouri, which I love turkey camp, man. There's nothing like having a turkey camp, man.
We were talking about this the other day. There's nothing, turkey camp is fun, and there's nothing better than the post turkey hunt nap.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like in Missouri, we could only hunt till one or be out at one or whatever. It was straight to Sonic to get a burger, and then we were taking a nap for
Yep.
sure.
Yeah. Those afternoon turkey naps are some of the best naps. Uh, I think about those all the time.
I bet now, especially you got a kiddo and stuff, you
Yeah.
probably definitely dream into those naps.
Yeah. But going back to your point, your question, honestly, this year, like I said, we're going to go to South Missouri, and we've never been down there, so we're kind of treating it to where we don't know nothing about it. I plan on taking a trip down there on one of my days off and kind of just listen and maybe put some boots on the ground and maybe put the kayak in and float the river and mark spots on my map. So, I mean, I guess that would be the only way to do it is just kind of, or even just looking at the maps, like maybe like, oh, here's a ridge here. There might be turkeys on that. I want to check that one out, or, something like that along those lines.
Yeah, we went to Ohio this year, kind of a wing it trip for whitetails, and it was a whole nother ball game. When it comes to public land and trying to scout. When we were trying to scout, there's people that are trying to hunt. You know what I mean? It was already season and stuff, and I think that's just a huge obstacle sometimes when it comes to public land because you want to go and check it out, but you don't want to mess it up. But somebody may have already bumped deer or turkey or whatever, and you
Yeah.
think that's going to be a badass spot, and you show up at 4 o'clock in the morning thinking you're going to be there, and there's already 5 trucks in the parking lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. That are, somebody, like I was saying earlier, don't hit your call, but you don't, little do you know, every night before or every morning before season started, there was some dude at the parking lot
Right.
just getting turkeys to gobble, and now he's call shy and won't talk to you. And yeah, I guess that's one of the pain in the asses about public land, but then I guess that's kind of the bigger reward too when you actually finally do get one. You're like, hey, I did this on public ground.
Yeah, I seen a TikTok today. It said I don't know what state they were in, but it said 2-year-old Toms at a public land spot, and they honked the horn of their truck, and the whole the whole hillside gobbled. I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
What about? I know this is kind of a broad question, but what about tips for beginner turkey hunters? Maybe they've never turkey hunted before and want to get into the sport.
The best I can tell you is to find a friend. I mean, I know that may not be easy. Some people don't have that, or some kind of mentor. If you don't have that and you're absolutely winging it from the beginning, go buy a slate call and hit public ground. If you're private ground too, whatever, just buy a slate call. Don't get too crazy. Practice on it, watch videos. And the best advice I could tell to like a new guy is, and we've been talking about it the whole time, scout. Turkeys are a creature of habit, but put yourself in a good spot the best you can and sit there. Don't run around like an idiot because you're going to bump turkeys. They can, trust me, they'll see you before you see them.
Oh, absolutely.
Just sit in one spot and hit that slate call. Even if you have to sit for 5, 6, 7 hours, just hit the slate call every 15, 20 minutes. Don't rip on it every 15, 20 minutes. Just soft yelps. You'll kill one. I guarantee it.
Oh, absolutely. Just be patient. You know what I mean? Let it play out.
Oh, yeah.
Like I was saying earlier.
I bumped more turkeys, like not being patient, like, oh, these turkeys aren't coming. These turkeys aren't coming. I'm going to move. And as soon as you do, as soon as you peek your head around that tree, oh, there he is. Put, 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 put. And you're like, damn it.
Funny story, kind of like what you're talking there. Took a buddy for his first ever turkey hunt. He wasn't super comfortable sitting on the ground, so I said, well, we'll take a blind. That's no big deal. Had the decoys out. And there was cows in this pasture, and they kept coming up, and they would spin that strutter decoy around in circles, keep messing with it. Finally, I got all pissed off, and I'm like, I'm going to go shoo these cows off. So I get out there, left the gun in the blind. I'm like shooting the cows off and everything. He goes, hey, look to your left. I look in my left, and this bird was right on the verge of coming out in the field. He kind of just stuck his head out and bolted. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Oh, man. I mean, we had him fired up that morning. It's not a surprise that he came in there. I should have never got out of the blind. That was definitely a huge mistake that I made for sure.
Oh, yeah. I've done it several times. With my wife last year, I took her out one morning, and we had these birds hammering across. They were across the ridge, and I say across the ridge, it was a valley and then the ridge, which they sounded like they were 50 yards away, but they were on the next ridge, and the sound was just, traveling right across the valley. And we're sitting there calling and sitting there calling and sitting there calling. They'd answer, and they would come a little bit like, oh, they're coming now. Oh, no, now they're going away. Oh, no, now they're coming. Well, I was trying to talk her in, like, we need to sit. We just need to sit here. They'll come eventually. She's getting restless. She's not a huge hunter, but she likes shooting turkeys in the face as much as I do. And so we're sitting there, and I'm just like, we need to sit. We need to sit. And she's getting restless. She's like, oh, I'm ready to go. I got to pee. I'm thirsty. Let's just go. Let's go. My legs are falling asleep. I'm like, okay, whatever. You're like a 8-year-old, but whatever. And so, and to this day, it pisses me off talking about this.
I bet.
As soon as I stood up, and I see little heads going everywhere throughout the woods, I'm like, motherfucker.
That's awesome, man.
And I got a little mad at my wife, and bless her heart, I know, like, she was dying, like her legs were falling asleep, and she's just not used to it. So
right.
like, I wasn't mad at her. I'm just like, God, I was so frustrated.
I didn't ask this first Spring Thunder Part 1, but I'm going to ask you. You just told a story about you hunting with your wife and everything. Tell us a story, like your most memorable turkey hunt, or something that just like really stands out in your mind. Like when you think of turkey hunting, like it just comes to your mind.
So, all right, I'm going to go back to my wife, her first turkey. And literally, so Missouri has like a mentor program to where somebody can hunt that doesn't have their license, but you have to be with a licensed hunter. And this was the first year we were dating. We weren't husband and wife yet, or even engaged. So I was like, listen, we're going to go turkey hunting. I know a good spot where there's turkeys. So we went and bought our tags the morning before, and So we went and sat up on this fence line, and there was a bird just hammering on this fence line. And I didn't know that it was a woven wire fence. And everybody knows turkeys aren't going to cross a woven wire fence. So I'm calling, and I'm like, and I actually had permission to hunt both sides of the fence, two different landowners, but I got permission to hunt both sides. And I made the judgment call. I'm like, all right, we're going to sit on this side of the fence because he's on this side of the fence. I'm calling, answering. I'm like, okay, here he comes. Get ready. And she's shooting a little U-20 gauge, and we had the decoy out to our left, kind of. And I see his head come up over the little ridge, and I'm like, damn it. And she's like, what? I was like, he's on the other side of the fence. And she's like, well, is he going to cross? And I looked at the fence. I was like, he ain't crossing that. And I shit you not. And I got this all on video too. I'll 100% put this video out there if anybody wants to see it. That little bastard.
I love it. I love it.
He was 15 yards away, and like, he was humping the ground. Like, he was so horny. He was humping the ground 15 yards away, and his tail was going up and down, and like, he's strutting, and the one time a crow called right above us. Like literally 5 yards away from us, but we can't shoot because like he's behind some brush and behind the woven wire fence, and he was kind of to her right and she was pointed to the left, and this went on and on and on. Finally, some jakes come up over the hill, and I'm like, we're gonna shoot a jake. I don't even care. So the jakes get like 20 yards away, and I'm like, shoot, and she's kind of scared of guns, but she shot, and I'm pretty sure she like jerked and pointed towards the sky when she shot, because like, I don't even know where the shell went, or the pellets went, but the jake flew off. And I didn't know this at the time, but that gobbler he was still over there, but when she shot, it actually scared him over the fence.
That's awesome.
So he
put another one in there.
So he jumped and went over the fence, and I look out, the jakes are putting, he's putting, it's chaos. And I'm like, shuck that shell. So she shucks another one, and he immediately goes into full strut, because now he's like, oh, I'm on the side of where this hen is. So he goes into full strut, and it couldn't have been more perfect. He strutted right down into the decoy, and he gets 5 yards from that decoy, and she smokes him right in the head, and he goes down, and he's a double bearded monster bird. Yeah, it was awesome.
That is
and
awesome.
She gets up from sitting there so long, and she's like limping. She's like, my legs are asleep.
I was gonna tell another story, but when you just told that one, it reminded me of another story. But down there in Kentucky, I talk about that a lot because a lot of my experiences are from down there. But my dad and grandpa were teamed up the opening morning, and me and my cousin were teamed up opening morning. We kind of paired up, and I took the first field, and they took this back horse pasture. And we had birds all around us all morning kind of thing, but we just kind of hung tight. And we're getting ready to call it a day to go back and get lunch or whatever. And we're getting ready to get up, and I said, don't move. All I could see coming up this ridge was the top of his tail fan. And I'm like, don't move, dude. Don't move. They're right on top of us. All of a sudden, the hens came in, and I had the hens almost walk over top of my legs, just sitting on the ground. And he was being impatient and had taken his face mask off. And I'm telling him to be patient. And I look over, just with my eyes, and his face mask is completely off. And the turkey's there at 4 yards. So the hen picks him off, and she goes crazy and takes off running, does her thing. I actually was going to try to come up over the top of the ridge and shoot, but from whatever she said to him, he had already took off running. And he had circled the ridge all the way down and into that horse pasture, and my dad shot him, and he was a double beard. I've never shot a double beard, always wanted to, and that was my chance that morning, and he let it get away from me.
That sucks.
There's always something that, with turkey hunting like that,
Oh, yeah. And those are the best stories, too. Those are the ones you remember. And like I said, the one I missed like 5 yards away, we reaped it. We walked all the way across this field, and he actually saw our tail. Like, two of us were hiding behind a half strut decoy, but it had the full fan. And he actually had ran at us a couple times, but like he would start running, and then we'd get down to ready to shoot. Then he couldn't see us no more, so he would check up and stop. So we'd go a little bit further, and we'd do the same thing. We'd stand up a little bit. I'm doing the motions on video. I don't know if all the listeners are gonna be like, whatever, but but we would stand up a little bit and hold that decoy. He'd start running, then we'd get down to shoot, and he'd check up again and stop. Finally, we got to him, and he started booking at it. This is on video too. And
I gotta see some of these videos.
And he starts running, and he does a little like hop step, like a little skip, I guess. And then he gets 5 yards from him. I've tried it 3 times. Missed every single time.
Oh, wow.
It was literally like 5 yards away. I'm like, I blamed it on the gun. You can hear my buddy Lance laughing in the background.
Well, the story that I was originally going to tell, so it was youth season in Kentucky. I was probably 17, maybe 18, and I took my same cousin I'm talking about. He actually had a broken arm in a cast, and he got it all camoed up and stuff. It's just me and him. We go out there, and where this ridge goes down, it drops off to Lake Cumberland. The lake's right there. And we had these birds fired up. There were 4 of them, and they were hammering and hammering, and I thought they were down on the bottom of that ridge. So, eventually we kind of started making our way to them, and I'm like, dude, those birds are on the other side of the lake. This isn't going to happen. So we're like, kind of tucking our tail between our legs. Let's get out of here. But we went back up the ridge, and I got into a little part of the field we call the strut zone. The birds always strut in this part of the field. And I said, I'm going to call one more time and see if I can get another one fired up or something. Soon as I hit my slate call, those birds had pitched across the lake.
Holy crap.
Yes, I swear. I wish I had this on video. And when they gobbled, they were on our side of the lake. So me and him instantly, like, panic mode. So we run down and sit on a tree, and they come in. And when I say they were at 20 yards, and all 4 of them gobbled in our face, and I about had a heart attack at 17 years old. And they had that 10 gauge that I was talking about. I said, all right, buddy, pick one. I mean, they all had absolute ropes on them. They were all huge. Pick one out, shoot it. Boom! They're all 4 standing there. I'm like, how did he miss with that 10 gauge at this close, I'm like, don't move. I'll reach in my vest because I got the shells for your gun. I pulled the thing out, and it was a single shot. So he popped it, and I slid the shell in there for him, and he popped it, brought it back up. Boom! Misses again. You just see him pitch back out across the lake. I'm like, what happened, dude? Oh, I forgot to turn the red dot on. I'm like, oh my God, dude. I mean, just 4 absolute kings of spring, man. They were just huge birds.
That almost make you sick.
I like power walked back to we had campers at that time. I power walked probably 100 yards ahead of him. I was so mad. I'm like, I just called these birds in your lap, bud.
From across a lake.
They pitched out across the lake. It was awesome.
That's another thing you just reminded me of is when you're out hunting and turkey hunting, and you're kind of like trying to decide, well, let's do this or let's do that, and then all of a sudden you hear pow, and it's like right there. You're like, oh shit, go over there.
Yeah, sit down.
That's kind of like my favorite kind of thing to do. Is just like panic mode in turkey woods. It's just so fun.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, I definitely appreciate you coming on and talking some turkey hunting. Had fun, kind of swapping stories back and forth. And what you got lined up for the spring? Just Missouri?
Yeah, I wanted to go to Kentucky, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I know the time's kind of tight, and like I said, we're going to go down south. And Kentucky season's the exact same as ours is here in Missouri. So when I'm not working, I'm going to be trying to kill a bird here in Missouri instead of trying to travel. So
right.
I don't have really anything travel plans. Like I said, we got that. We're going to try to do that trip down South Missouri this year. And other than that, we're not going to, I don't have any plans. My cousin's coming up from Florida the first week. So I'm going to try to get him a bird the first week, and then I got to work. And then the second week we're going down South. So that's pretty much all I got planned this spring.
I'm going to start in Kentucky because it comes in like a week or 2 weeks, I think, ahead of Indiana. I'm going to hit Kentucky, Indiana, and then hopefully Monday I find out if I got the Michigan tag or not, which I'm praying that I get that one because it sounds a fun opportunity.
Is it hard to draw in Michigan? Or?
Well, it's really weird how it's all these different zones, and then you're either putting in for private land, or public land. There's like a different tag for all these different zones and stuff. So basically I put in, there's like a line and in the middle of the state, and it's like zone ZZ or something. So it's from that line down, and it's really weird. But I put in for the private land tag, and they only give out so many tags in that zone period. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's kind of a prayer at this point. I hope it works out because they send me trail cam pictures, and there's like 30 turkeys in the field, and I'm like, oh come on, man.
Do they say like what the success rate of is drawing or?
I didn't see anything of that. You know, when me and that guy kind of talked it out, he told me what zone and what tag to put in for. I put in for it, and I'm kind of
That,
just hoping it works out
yeah.
like that.
Well, that'd be awesome. I hope you get one. You have to let me know.
Oh, absolutely, man. Hopefully, I got a video of it getting smoked because
Yeah.
they're big on the whitetail filming, and we're kind of going to do like a YouTube collaboration, like with them and
Right.
what we got going on and everything. I think it'll be a pretty fun trip.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
Well, tell everybody where they can find you at on social media.
At KCamp3 on Twitter. That's pretty much all I use. I have an Instagram, but I never use it. Kyle Campbell on Facebook. Average Opportunity on YouTube. I don't have anything there yet. It's all, well, I take that back. Some of the older videos is me and Lance, together and stuff. But it's mainly him just now. But I'll be on there. I think we're gonna try to work something out, some kind of collaboration deal.
Yeah.
Like I said, I got a little project I want to kind of try to do this year for deer, and then we're gonna throw some turkey stuff on that. So that'll be where our turkey stuff's gonna be, is Average Opportunity on YouTube this year. So.
Absolutely, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on and everything. And for everybody watching on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button for me if you're listening on Apple, Spotify, Google, all those places. Hit a review for me. Fill out a little form or whatever. Let us know how you like the podcast, or if you don't like it. I like to hear that too. What I could do better. You guys have a good night.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem, buddy.